Mars is the best choice, or do you think there are any other better choice? We human can become actually a multiplanetary microbiome will develop an atmosphere for plants, and the plants will develop a living environment for humans.
Multiplanetary, of course, the closest thing planet to inhabit is the Mars. And actually, of course, it takes a few years to reach the Mars. And
Yes.
What do we need for living? You need an atmosphere. Yeah?
Yes.
You need oxygen there. You have to find ways to create oxygen on the Mars. And you need water. Two most important things you can live on the Mars. Yeah?
Yeah. So your research topic is about the photosynthetics. Do you imagine the process in Mars and the process on Earth?
Yeah.
So do you think there will be any difference
Of
for the
course
new
you-
plants in the Mars?
You can use plants, and if you have the environment, you also need water and you need carbon dioxide
Yes,
for the
yes.
plants to grow. Yeah.
Ah.
That you have to make sure that there is carbon dioxide and water. Then, of course, the plants would produce oxygen. Danger would be that you don't have an ozone layer in Mars. So there will be much more UV radiation. UV radiation would kill the living system. So you have to find out protection against the UV light in order to allow organisms to grow there without artificial protection by an artificial roof.
So the UVs will, back to our topic, it will accelerate the aging process.
UV light creates mutations. Mutations are the cause for cancer. Yeah? We will get skin cancer.
So maybe that will be a pretty much new disease that we cannot take off the clothes that anti-UV.
The point is, the plants they develop systems against UV light, and so living systems can do that. There's no doubt that they can develop protective systems against the plants. Already now, of course, living the outside, they have to have protection against UV lights. They use carotenoids and other pigments in order to be protected against too much UV light.
Do you think the Mars is the best choice for being a multiplanetary species, or do you think there are any other better choice?
The point is, if you think you have to find the planets near neighboring stars, yeah.
Yeah.
If there would be something you could try, but for the moment, because people now spectroscopists they analyze the atmosphere of exoplanets, and if they find something find a planet which has a similar size as Earth and it has an atmosphere, and they can analyze the contents of the atmosphere, and if something they could start to live. But if they find oxygen, yeah, in an atmosphere there, yeah, it would be a sign that there is some kind of life already. Some kind of photosynthesis, because oxygen is the product of photosynthesis. And photosynthesis is performed by living organisms, by plants and algae, and some microorganisms. If they find oxygen, it would be a good sign in order to try to go there and to live. But actually, if you look around about the composition and the development of the photosynthetic system on Earth, they are all derived from one invention. All the photosynthetic systems are very, very similar, so they're evolutionarily related.
In my mind, the picture is the microbiome will develop an atmosphere for plants, and the plants will develop a living environment for humans.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do you have any question for the young people audience in China?
What comes to my mind, of course, it's what do the young Chinese guys expect?
Yeah.
Because they want to have a good life, in my opinion. Yeah. But it's also clear that you have to, to have a good life, you have to work, and you have to think about what is the right question for you in your life.
So, but retire too early is not good for anti-aging.
If a muscle is not used, it degrades. If your brain is not used, it degrades. You have to stay active, physically active and mentally active. Tell your guys they have to be physically active and not to sit down on the sofa.